Jean-Paul Sartre, the philosopher of the absurd, slouched over his espresso, deep in thought. The aroma of the strong coffee mingled with the weight of his contemplations. Existential dread? Please, he practically invented that. His lectures were legendary, filled with profound insights and a touch of despair. But no, today's torment was far more modern. Netflix. The streaming giant loomed large in his mind, a new kind of existential challenge. A free 1-month trial stared back from his laptop screen. 1 month of unlimited access, 1 month to explore endless possibilities. Thousands of hours of content, each show a potential rabbit hole. The sheer volume was overwhelming. The very concept mocked him. How could one choose? The paradox of choice was a cruel joke. Being and nothingness he could handle. He had written the book on it, quite literally. Being and binge-watching? This was uncharted territory. The idea of losing oneself in endless episodes was foreign to him. Sartre felt a familiar pressure, not in his gut, but in his scrolling finger. The decision of what to watch weighed heavily. He was, as he so famously wrote, condemned to be free. Even from commercials, the freedom was almost too much to bear.
In this modern dilemma, Sartre's existential musings took a new form. The digital age had redefined his struggles. The digital age had presented him with a challenge he never anticipated. A challenge that was both trivial and profound, a true test of his philosophical resolve.
Should he delve into Scandinavian noir with its dark, brooding landscapes and complex characters? Or perhaps explore the vast landscape of reality TV, a genre that promises endless drama and unexpected twists? A genre he suspected held a perverse mirror to the human condition? The choices seemed endless, each one more tantalizing than the last. Every click felt heavy with consequence, as if each decision carried the weight of 1,000 unwatched episodes. Choosing one show meant forsaking countless others, each with its own unique story and world to explore. Was he a Stranger Things kind of man, drawn to the supernatural and the nostalgic allure of the 80s, or more of a BoJack Horseman, captivated by the dark humor and existential musings of a washed-up cartoon horse? He paced his apartment, the weight of his limitless viewing options pressing down on him. This wasn't just entertainment, it was a reflection of his very identity. This was a philosophical quandary of the highest order. The sheer abundance of choice was paralyzing. To choose or not to choose, he muttered, that is the question. And what if he made the wrong choice? And does the algorithm even care? It seemed indifferent to his plight, offering more options than he could ever hope to watch.
Sartre's struggle with choice was no longer confined to the realm of philosophy. It had become a daily reality. It had invaded his leisure time, turning what should have been a simple decision into an existential crisis. The freedom to choose had become a burden, a source of constant anxiety. In a world of infinite choices, how could he ever be sure he was making the right one?
Desperate, Sartre called his friend, Simone de Beauvoir. Simone, I'm drowning in content. Each episode is a commitment, a potential waste of precious existence.
Simone, ever practical side. Jean-Paul, it's just television. Pick something, anything. You can always watch something else later.
But Sartre was inconsolable. He saw in Netflix a reflection of life itself, a dizzying array of choices with no inherent meaning except the meaning we impose upon them. He hung up feeling more alone than ever. He considered calling Camus, but then decided against it. Camus would probably just suggest they watch a documentary about the futility of it all.
By my morbid fascination with true crime, am I defined by my love of cooking competitions? Each show a potential path. Hey, it's me again. Just realizing this whole Netflix thing, it's like choosing your essence.
He paused, picturing himself not as the father of existentialism, but as the guy who binged Nailed It 3 seasons in a row.
Suddenly, no exit feels less like a play and more like a warning about autoplay.
He mumbled, ending the message. Days turned into a week. Sartre remained paralyzed, unable to muster the energy to make even the simplest of decisions. The weight of his freedom felt like an unbearable burden. The blinking cursor on the Netflix home screen mocked his inability to decide. It was as if the endless choices were a cruel joke, a reminder of his indecisiveness. He was trapped in an existential purgatory of his own making, a prisoner of his own mind. The freedom to choose had become a paralyzing force, leaving him in a state of perpetual limbo.
He tried to distract himself with various activities. He picked up a pen and tried to write, hoping to find solace in the flow of words. He wrote, but every sentence felt like a betrayal of the thousands of unwatched stories on his laptop. The unwatched shows loomed over him, casting a shadow on his creativity. He went for walks, but even the open sky seemed to whisper, "Are you still watching?" The freedom of the outdoors did little to alleviate his inner turmoil.
Each night he lay awake, haunted by the ghosts of unchosen series. The silence of the night was filled with the echoes of missed opportunities and unmade decisions. Had he missed out on his true calling as a connoisseur of Korean dramas? The thought gnawed at him, adding to his sense of regret and confusion. Was there a documentary about the history of mime that would have changed his entire perspective on the universe? The possibilities were endless, and the weight of those possibilities was crushing. In the end, Sartre's free trial expired. He had watched nothing. The laptop sat closed, a silent monument to his inability to conquer the tyranny of choice. He felt a strange sense of relief, but also a profound emptiness.
He had stared into the abyss of infinite entertainment and blinked. And as he sat down to pen his latest philosophical treatise, he couldn't shake the feeling that the ultimate existential question wasn't to be or not to be, but rather to stream or not to stream.